Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is KPZ. You are here on the home of the Slightly Above Average Ship Review. We're here on Estuary. We are in, we're top tier. We're in the Christopher, the Tier 8 American Alternate Destroyer Line Destroyer. We've got the legendary Ernest Evans behind the wheel. Advanced up a little bit from where he was in our last video. And we made some changes to our commander build. We're going to talk about the big differences you need to know about the Christopher as opposed to the lower ships in the line. First and foremost, you can see it right there. You've got unlimited charges of that advanced radar. You also have a different gun arrangement. Instead of individual gun emplacements, you have 3 twin turrets. The caliber is 5.4 inches. So that's a theoretical caliber gun that was under development in the late 30s, early 40s for the United States, but never made it into production. So this ship is a figment of someone's imagination at wargaming. They just used an existing ship model to create it. There is a real destroyer called the USS Christopher, which we will talk about. It was a destroyer escort. Cannon-class destroyer escort built for the U.S. Navy, served for a short time in the Atlantic before being transferred to Brazil in December of 44, eventually retired and scrapped in 64. The armament at the time, 3 3-inch guns, bunch of Bofors and Oerlikon guns, and 3 torpedo tubes. Really more set up for anti-submarine warfare. So that is the history of the real destroyer escort named Christopher, not a destroyer. Again, this ship and the ship that follows it, the premium or legendary tier ship, pardon me, the Burroughs, didn't exist as they do in this game. All right, so what do you get when you get the Christopher? Well, I've talked about this in some aspect in my other videos. These destroyers occupy kind of a unique place that puts them more akin, I would say, to a German 150 caliber gun destroyer than anything else. And I say that because although you have a long main battery range and a high alpha strike damage on your HE and AP, you are a terrible gunboat because you don't have any speed whatsoever, and you have terrible reload and terrible turret traverse. There we get an assisted kill when we were trying to get a kill pinch. That's okay. All right, we're going to shoot at this hipper hiding behind a rock, and then we're going to back up to get more of our guns on target. And that is going to become a recurring theme. There's some more shots on the hipper. I don't think we actually do any damage to the hipper before the hipper gets killed. Yeah, so anyway, the Christopher, it's great at doing damage. You've got these really nice alpha strike of the guns and stuff, alpha strike on the torpedoes. There's the Orage. I don't believe I have that destroyer, or if I do, I don't remember anything about it. Here you can see 6 turrets, 6 salvos, or whatever you want to call it. The Orage gets killed by a torpedo. We get another handjob ribbon there. But the alpha strike adds up, and if you get max damage, 6 shells, each doing 2,200 max damage, does a lot of damage to a destroyer. Not to mention fire chance, which is about 9%. So here we're starting to chip away at the Wichita, set a couple of fires, and hopefully he put one out, not the other. But anyway, I think there's a third fire. And so even though we're probably not going to get the kill, no problem setting him all over the place on fire. All right, enemy Christopher, he showed himself for a second. I know there are torpedoes inbound. I also know they're extremely slow because I have the very same torpedoes in my ship. And so we're just going to chip a little bit more damage here at Wichita. It's a Wichita, old school Wichita there. Anyway, another hand job ribbon. We're up to 3. We're going to move in to engage the enemy Christopher here. And basically, I'm doing that because looking at the minimap, he's the only ship in his immediate vicinity. And I know this from experience. If you are in a Christopher and you are the only ship in the immediate vicinity, you could be dead very quickly. Don't ask me how I know that. Anyway, he does some module damage. We did some module damage to him. Some other ship is trying to get involved. We're just going to go bow on to reduce any chance of torpedoes. Although I know he's got a really long torpedo reload because we're in the exact same destroyer. So here we're waiting for our radar to come back online, which is going to do any second now, in about 5 seconds. But really, I'm just closing the distance here to give him nowhere to go. Radar on. There is the Christopher. There's also another destroyer out there, right, that snuck up on us, but we killed the Christopher. We dodged the Elbing's torpedoes, and now we are engaging the Elbing, who isn't all alone out here, but he didn't do a very good job at torping at me. So we pretty much got the Elbing all to ourselves now because he moved away from those other ships. So I'm anticipating when I come out of the smoke screen, I am going to be able to engage the Elbing, which is really kind of a very similar destroyer, in my opinion, to these destroyers. Great at doing damage, but very slow. Not a great reload. There's the Elbing. I don't know why he turned like that, as we totally missed. But we are going to turn against our rear turret, which crosses over the center line of the ship anyway. And because he put up a smoke screen, we're just going to continue closing the distance because there he is on our passive radar. All right, he left his own smoke screen, which seems kind of dumb. And he's continuing to leave his smoke screen. And there's some more damage to him there. And we dodge some torpedoes quite inadvertently. And here we're going to finish him off. And nobody can help him because he isolated himself. All right, we didn't finish him off. We got another hand job ribbon. Plymouth out of main battery range. Where's the other cruiser? Check your passive radar sweep on the minimap. He is nestled up against the island. That seems like a really dumb thing to do when you're in close proximity to a destroyer with reloaded torpedoes that do a shitload of damage and higher caliber main battery specifically meant for damaging light-skinned cruisers. All right, so let's see what this is all about. We're going to come around the mountain here. He's going to become visible in a minute. There he is, the Dalian. We're going to go through the bow plating. As you can see, 4 hits the Citadel. His torpedoes are far too slow. And we're going to go through the other side of the bow plating. 5 hits the Citadel, and we really didn't even need the torpedoes. And he also helped us activate Final Stand. Pardon me, my throat lozenge is running out. So we're just going to chip away here at the Plymouth. Try to get that hand job medal. I'm sorry, I thought I could make it the entire video without needing to put one of these in. Anyway, newsflash. We don't get the kill, we do get the hand job medal. All right. Battle over. Here we are in the victory screen, the helping hand medal, aka the hand job medal. 62k damage, 85 main battery hits, 5 assisted kill ribbons, 2 kills, set 5 fires, and 9 Citadel hits, all in that Dalian. We ended up with 355,653 silver, 3,700 ship XP, 4,100 commander XP. Not a great game, but a fairly good game. 1 medal, 2 kills. Here we are at the top of the board. 2407 base XP. Just short of that GG. Maybe if we had gotten an extra kill in there, but then we wouldn't have the hand job medal. So I'm cool with that. We're at the top of the board. That's all you need to know. Pretty top-heavy effort by our team. First 4 ships had all of the kills. All right. Here in the port, let's take a look at the Christopher. We are in early access still. We went with Aiming System Mod 1 in Mod Slot 1. Steering Gears Mod 2 in Mod Slot 2. Concealment System Mod 1 and Mod Slot 3. And AA Guns Mod 3 and Mod Slot 4. I know that may be debatable. The destroyer is fully upgraded. You got high explosive, armor piercing, and regular torpedoes. Unlimited charges of the damage control party. 2 charges of the smoke generator. Unlimited charges of advanced radar. And 3 charges of the defensive AA fire. We were also running the rare battle booster for movement speed and cooldown time. Got the standard permanent camouflage and the early adopter flag. Taking a look at the specs, 22,270 hit points with our build. It's a pretty big jump from the base value. Also have a 40% fire resistance. The main battery here, again, those 3 twin 137 millimeter turrets fire out to 11.2 kilometers. Reload in 6.5 seconds. 12.9 second turret traverse. And 2 of shell grouping value. Dispersion all slightly worse, as you can see there. HE shells 2200 max damage. 9% fire chance. They pen 23 millimeters of armor. AP shells do 3400 max damage, as the Dalion well knows. Pen just over 310 millimeters of armor at point blank range, and just under 100 millimeters of armor at max range due to our build. Improved ricochet angles 60 and 67.5 degrees. The fuse arming threshold is 23 millimeters. All right, your torpedoes got decreased. 1 quintuple tube launcher, 9.4 kilometer range. The torpedoes travel 50 knots with our build, reload in 85 seconds. The max damage, 25,680 with our build. Detectability is 900 meters, and the arming distance is 164 meters. All right, you lose a little torpedo, you gain a little AA. Your main battery is dual purpose and is your longest reaching AA at 5 kilometers. For some reason, our Oerlikon guns took a hit in usefulness, which I can't explain because the other AA is greatly improved, as you will see. AA damage per second from 49 to 127 for the Bofors guns. The second set of Bofors guns went from 98 to 127 as well. Maneuverability, 36 knots in the water. Again, this is a slow fucking ship. 680 meter turning circle. 3.4 second rudder shift time with our changes. And you're just not as fast starting and stopping anymore, unfortunately. Or backing up. Concealment, 5.4 on the surface, 3 kilometers from the air. 2.8 when firing from a smoke screen. Taking a look at the stats, played 18 matches in the Christopher and won half of them and survived only 4 of them. Main battery accuracy, 58%. I think that's pretty good. Torpedo accuracy of 6%. I think that's pretty terrible. Not doing a ton of kills per match. Looks like 1 kill every 2 matches. And just 32k damage. The last match you saw was our best match, not in terms of damage, but in terms of XP. Here in the armor bureau, nothing special. Advanced radar, yes. Sticky shot, I guess so. Slow, definitely. And the bio confirms is totally hypothetical. All right, on to the commander. I had to cut that, sorry. Ernest Evans, changed from the original commander build I was using. Base trait, the chief, maximum hit points. Maxed out at 8%. We're still using Bei and Shi Chang for preset 2. Preset 1, as you can see, there's a little bit of a differences here that we'll go over. We're not using Beacon. Instead, we're using Quick Fix because I have my rudder disabled a bunch of times. And so you need this reduced mobility, in my opinion, at these higher tiers. Look at me now in row number 2. In row number 3, instead of picket station, we went to in harm's way because we have that unlimited radar. So I didn't think the extra consumable charge was as useful as having a better reload when you are detected. So that's why I made that change. Even though I decried picket station maybe as somewhat of a trap in the earlier video. Yeah, you can see reload while detected. That's why we made that change. Still rolling with Tin Can Sailor in the 4th row. And of course, Final Stand, which is a really nice skill because it pumps up your damage once you get hurt. Anyway, that's the video. Love to hear what you think about the ship or the commander build in the comments below. Have a great day.